I've done so many things that I regret in my life. Like many people, we've made poor decisions, bad decisions. Some people believe they never hurt people, but we've all done some sort of damage to somebody, whether it was intentional or not. Some of the things I can forgive myself for because I was young and misled. I remember being a teenager and in my early 20s, and I wanted to be like the villain. I wanted people to dislike me. It's a weird complex to be understood. It's like I liked the attention that negativity brought me. Does that make sense? Drama, toxicity, and so forth. But why? I know exactly why that happened to me personally, because when I grew up, my friends were people considered villainous. In the Programming Socks video, which was the second episode of the Aku anime, I broke down my past, how I learned how to code and being around people who were sociopathic and so forth. But they were my friends, and I looked up to them. A 13-year-old Aku doesn't know any better, you know? So getting older, they were cool to me. That's who I wanted to be. They inspired me. I can be cool. I could be cool being the villain as well. And some people, they have this complex right now. I'm sure you can see it in people. They want to be the bad guy. It's cool to them. Being edgy is cool, and, you know, not caring about the damage that they do. This still lingers with me a little bit, the complex, as it's deeply rooted from over a decade of struggling with my own identity, because this is who I was for many of my younger years, as I mentioned, over a decade. Yet, though, I think about it now, and I can forgive myself so far. Maybe some of you won't forgive me for certain things. The first time I told y'all I made video game cheats, some of y'all hated me. When I released Star and Moon, I hate that song so much. Some of y'all found out that's what I do and told me I deserve to be taken off this planet per se, right? Or taken off my own existence. I'll tell you my rationale and why I can forgive myself. A lot of these games are so cheater infested, and the companies related are not doing anything about it. So why not hop into the market? If everyone or most people are cheating in a video game, are you the idiot if you play legit? Really think about it. If everyone is playing a sport and everyone is on steroids, or most people are on steroids, and nobody is getting penalized for it, and everyone's playing 10 times better than you because of it, getting all the awards, all the bonuses to their salary and everything, but you're not doing it. You're not on them steroids. Does that make you the idiot? Everyone else is doing it and they're getting all the stuff. You doing this. Are you know, now the problem really, it's not the steroids. It's not the players. The problem is the league. They should be cracking down on the steroid users. The same analogy can be made for the video game cheats. These companies are lazy and making money off of users who, when their player base is just infested, they just continue to make money off of their players when, you know, they're not taking care of the business that needs to be taken care of, despite multiple people complaining about it, despite everyone knowing how bad it is. The people who make the video game cheats care more about the game than the company itself. Does it make video game cheating right? Absolutely not. But it is so bad, the problem, the infestation, that this is why my sympathy for it has gone so far away, where I feel bad still, because I don't want to ruin someone's experience, but I don't feel bad as I should. You know what game is really in turmoil? Here's a perfect example. And I know I'm going on a tangent right now because video topic here, right? But here's a perfect example for the people who played this game. Team Fortress 2. That game, if you ever played in the past maybe 2 or 3 years, they've been having a bot problem that can easily be fixed. The community has been complaining for years, and things aren't being consistently maintained. I don't know why. And it's funny because I grew up playing Team Fortress 2. I love TF2. I love the game so much. On my old account, I have all these items. I spent so much money on the market because you could buy all these hats and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about, the unusuals and stuff. But I feel a distaste towards Valve because the game I grew up with, fell in love with, is infested with bots. And there's no working solution that is consistently being worked on. I remember playing NBA 2K17 with a friend who I actually met on Team Fortress 2. He became my best friend at the time. We used to play the park or on, I don't know what was called back then in 2K17, NBA 2K17. I think it was still called the park, right? Yo, when we played on that mode, everyone, not even exaggerating, everyone was cheating. Everyone had people built like Giannis, strong like Shaq, and they were scoring like Michael Jordan and hitting threes like Steph Curry. Yet, to achieve a character like that, it was impossible, naturally, unless you cheated. So my friend and I, we can't even get a legit game. We're hopping on there with our legit characters, and everyone is out here playing like the god of basketball. And see, I asked the question, are we the idiot? If we keep playing against everybody's on these parks, they're cheating. They got all these broken Michael Jordan, LeBron James mixture, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Giannis, Steph Curry 3-point shooting characters with 99 speed, and we're playing with our legitimate characters that can't match that. Are we the idiot for playing? So you know what we did? We found an NBA 2K trainer online. It was free. First Google result. We buffed up our characters and we made the playing ground even. Fun fact. That was the last time I ever bought an NBA 2K game, because I'm still upset about it years later. That was NBA 2K17. It's 2024 as I'm recording this video. I'm not giving that company my money anymore if you're not going to take care of your customers or platform. And by the way, I read online, they're finally making the next NBA 2K. They're making it the next gen finally, which we've been behind for like nearly a decade. And, you know, for the past 10 years in NBA 2K, the games have been filled with cheaters still. Good thing I stopped paying. So you know what it is about doing bad things, or things considered just bad in general. Most of the time when we do things that make us considered bad or malicious, we do it out of pettiness, quick anger, or sometimes we feel the things we can do, it won't be everlasting. So we just, we could just do it. And oftentimes we struggle to forgive ourselves over the most petty things. I feel like, and tell me I'm lying right here, I feel like it's harder to forgive yourself over petty things. Yet the most calculated things that we do that is considered bad, it's easier for us to forgive ourselves. Why? Because when we do calculated things, we're not strictly thinking off of irrationalism. We're actually pinpointing why we're doing certain things. And the explanation we can make for ourselves or other people about it, we have that ready. Hence calculated. I just gave you a whole rant about why I got into video game cheats, though you may disagree with me in the logic I have, which I understand because people hate cheaters. So some of you probably are not even going to listen to a single thing I said, regardless of any point I make. It's called being irrational. And again, that's what hate is about, just being irrational, not listening to anything. Again, doesn't mean it's right. I never said it was right. I even said it was wrong. But you can see, I didn't wake up one day and make a decision like that. I didn't wake up one day and be like, I could just do this because I'm mad right now. No, it's been a long, everlasting issue that hasn't been resolved. And I have a skill set that I grew up with that takes advantage of that issue. I'm not just someone who knew how to code. I was somebody who knew how to reverse engineer and hack from a young age. If you listen to that programming socks video and the story behind how I learned and developed my skill set. And with this, you might consider me an overall bad person off of knowing a single detail about someone like myself. I've done this to people myself, where somebody who I had limited interactions with or limited knowledge about, I feel like they weren't very good. I feel like they weren't good people to be around. I didn't even give them a chance, really. And some people have done that to me. Or even people have told me about other people not being good people strictly off of their interactions. So I never gave that person a chance to truly get a chance to, I never gave someone a chance to learn about me. I never gave someone a chance to learn about them, because I never gave myself a chance to learn about them because someone I just heard, you know what I'm saying? Some people can do so many good things, but do one bad thing, and everyone will consider them a terrible person. Some people can do so many good things, but make one mistake, and everyone will consider them a bad person. Weird how life works, right? Because we remember more negative things than positive things. So maybe it's just not weird. It just becomes an issue and a dilemma where the way people define who is good or bad is very black and white. Me personally, if I want to consider someone a bad person, I would need to see someone's patterns or history of consistently and only consistently doing bad things, and not just highlighting their bad things. Because look, if we all looked at our past and the things we did and only highlighted the bad things, a lot of us would be looking terrible right now. Be looking for real. Because we ignored the good. We ignored our neutral moments. It's about, to me, it's about someone's intent. If someone is consistently, constantly, back to back to back to back, doing things that are damaging to society at large, other people, animals, beings, whatever, and their intention is clear on what they're doing, I would define them as a bad person. I would say the opposite for someone who is good as well. If someone is constantly, with intention, trying to do good things for people, not because, I'm going to do good things for people because I want something from people. Because a lot of people are like that. They only do good things because what can I get out of that? You know what I'm saying? But if you do good things with the right intentions, like, hey, I just want to be of service. Some of these people, they're imperfect because nobody's perfect. Still, I would consider them a good person. But this does bring up a question about intention and trying to do good things. Is it too late to ever be a good person? Doing so much negative, is there a chance you can make things right? Well, I think it depends on how severe it is. The problem with doing bad things is that oftentimes the damage cannot be reversed. Intentional damage or not. You might impulsively say something to somebody, or anger gets the best of you. And somebody may think about that for a very long time. That moment where you just let your anger get the best of you, and that impulsive thing just happened, just came out of your mouth, right? Not everyone can forgive that easily. Some people never find a way of forgiveness at all. I don't like the advice people give when we talk about this subject. They say, well, the best way for people to forgive you is only to move on and show you change. Yeah, well, if you move on from the damages you created or participated in, who is going to clean it up? The damage needs to be something you remember so you don't do it again. For example, the way I speak to people now is way different than how I spoke to people years ago. And that's because I had moments of awareness where I looked back and said, damn, I was really being a jerk. I told myself that. Like, look, some of these people, I have no way of contacting them. But I don't even know what they're doing right now, but I was a jerk back then. All I can do is change, but they probably won't forgive me. If I ever had the chance to apologize, I would. And if they don't care, then they don't care. But you know what? I'll remember being a jerk. And next time I'm angry or I feel like saying stuff, I'm going to remember something I did wrong before. I can't just move on and be like, the past is the past, bro. Nah, these are things that help with your insight, help make you somebody else. What happens in the past is done already, right? You can't change it. But a balance of not dwelling on that thing is important. Some days you'll be on it more than others. And going back, some things just can't be reversed. The unfortunate but fortunate thing about life is that every decision you make, you got to deal with the consequences to it. There's never a moment where that's not the case. Everything that you do comes with an outcome. So I like to believe it's not too late to be a good person. I don't even consider myself a good person. Why? Because I'm not comfortable doing enough service or helping others to where I could smile about it yet. I want it to be balanced. I feel like maybe I'm being harsh on myself. If you've been following me on Instagram, especially last year, I did numerous charity services. First time I've been going out there and doing charity. I participated in a turkey drive. Me and my friends, we did something for the Salvation Army. We did Toys for Tots. And I'm just trying to do better things. But it's not enough. We got more to go. And I want to be able to build myself and grow to be a better person. And I've done so. And like, how did I start this video? I said, I've done so many things in the past that I regret. So many things that I wish I didn't do. But these things, I take them as lessons. And life is very difficult. Life isn't easy. We mess up all the time. And in doing this, we hurt people in the worst ways. But it's all a journey to realizing what we can do to better ourselves as we grow. The people who I hurt in the past, personally, I wish I can apologize to them directly. But sometimes I do think about some of the people, and it carries on to life sometimes. And again, I just remind myself, I remember when I did that to that person. I don't want to do that again because I remember I hurt somebody here. I remember I said the wrong thing here. And I'll make sure not to do it again. Anyway, this episode of the Aku Anime is found on Spotify and iTunes. Watch the sun bleed. It's our time to go out while we watch the sun down. Watch the sun down. Watch the sun. Watch the sun down, down, down. I got what I asked for, but I think it's never mine. We try to shine our own way, but the stars are not aligned. Laser on the heat, best bet you better hide. Said to do what's best, now my thoughts are on decline. Take a trip with me, we can share confessions. What's next for us? That's a loaded question. You go first, you have the best expressions. I'm looking up, now I see a dark sky heaven. Watch the sun bleed, it's our time to go out while we watch the sun down. Silent guy, forever peace, now there's no doubt. While we watch the sun down, fears or hopes are gone, we don't know what that's about. While we watch the sun. I was cleaning out the attic and I found my Nintendo Wii. And I'm not talking about the Wii U, I'm talking about the old Wii. I remember playing Wii Sports with my family every weekend, Wii Baseball, and I kind of felt some type of way because that was the last console I ever bought. Well, actually, I had an Xbox 360, but my parents hid it from me and refused to give it to me because my grades were so bad. And by that time I got my 360 because I improved my grades, the 360 got discontinued soon after, which was like around 2016. It made me think about some of these old games I used to play, like the old version of Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Like, I haven't played the 3DS version, the old Pokemon games, the old Yu-Gi-Oh games, and I never got into the new games that people have nowadays. Like, I never played Fortnite in my life. I never played Apex Legends. I used to watch my ex play, and there's just so much stuff going on. That's why I can't stand Minecraft anymore. The old Minecraft was better. Now there's like 20 million things going on in the vanilla game. The mechanics are all over the place. God forbid you mod Minecraft. There's like a ton more things going on here. I can still play games like Sims because Sims is very simple-minded of a game, even though they keep adding DLC and the mechanics remain the same for the most part. It's not like Minecraft where every major update, the whole world is generated completely differently. And I'm not trying to just beat up on Minecraft here, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like I feel the same about like Yu-Gi-Oh games too. When I not Yu-Gi-Oh games, but just Yu-Gi-Oh in general. When I used to be so much into Yu-Gi-Oh, it was just ritual summoning, fusion summoning, synchro summons, XZ summons, and now they got, I don't know, pendulum summoning, link summoning, man, even Pokemon got the game messed up too, man. I stopped caring around the time they added these Z moves. Pokemon Sun and Moon, people be doing these sus poses to activate a move. I activate my Z move, 20 hot dogs in my mouth. It does 110 meat damage with 10% accuracy. Like, what is going on in these games anymore? Like, you ever wonder why I play the same old games in my videos? This is why I don't know. You should play this game, Aku. Man, shut your ass up. I'm not into these new games. I keep saying that. I feel like the reason why I've grown so stubborn and distaste for gaming, and I know how some people are, just because my opinion on gaming is not the same as yours, people get mad. Okay, apparently we got to live the same life here. Apparently, okay. I think what happened is my childhood died a long time ago. I think the day it died is when I moved out with my ex-girlfriend, because I remember during that time period I started getting into Team Fortress 2, but that game is filled with kids, depressed bronies, and divorced single baby daddies, and I started to realize my passion for gaming or living life carefree went away. I used to play TF2 and be stressed out about real life. That was never a thing for me when I was younger. I would just play games and goof around. Maybe watch Yu-Gi-Oh! GX or 5Ds. Like, I wasn't watching anime like that, but you know, that was the only anime I was watching. And I would not care about a single thing in the world. When I moved out with Shorty, we was eating bread off of a napkin, and I had some beat up laptop because I was so broke. I couldn't play any of the new games. I couldn't afford a new console. I had some cheap Android phone that was super slow, and I was beefing with Shorty because we was struggling and it was stressing us both out. We were also stressed about school. I'm trying to be a neurosurgeon. She's trying to be a nurse. We a medical couple. We hate our lives, naturally. I remember during the 1v1 therapy video, Sunset Clips asked me a question. And if you watch the video, I'll leave it in the description if I'm not lazy, right? But if you watched it or listened to it, he said, do your family members have any mental health issues that affected you or you inherited, right? And I told him no. And that's the truth. My parents are very resilient and stoic. My dad is kind of questionable about his decision making, which I joke about all the time in my videos, but he's not like depressed or anything like that. But once I became 19 or so, all of a sudden my mental health started spiraling. I don't know what happened. It just suddenly set off. And I know the internet psychologists and the cyber internet specialists will emphasize that usually mental illness and psychological issues start onsetting at adult ages and blah, blah, blah. And that may be true. I'm not disagreeing with you, but like, rhyming accidentally, but like, there wasn't a significant event that suddenly flipped the switch for me. It just happened. All of a sudden, I'm sad all the time, or I would go 0 to 100 with my anger. And you know, out of fairness, like I said in my older videos, I grew up as a very angry teenager because I was mad at things people did to me when I was younger. But once the switch turned on as an adult, I spiraled. That's when my childhood died. It became it became like a part where life isn't as fun anymore. And you can make the argument, which I agree, that you can make life as fun as you make it. It's your decision and how you choose to live your life. I understand, but there's always the inevitable feeling in the back of your mind that stresses you out about things. I miss not having that feeling. I miss not having anxiety about anything. I might say, and this is simply called growing up, but it's sad it has to be that way. I feel like the moment you lose your innocence of being a child, everything hits the fan. And that can hit differently depending on who you are. Some people, they lose their innocence at a very young age. I'm saying mine went away around 19. Some of y'all had issues earlier in your life. There's a point where it's like it's not innocence. Maybe I feel like your childhood dies as well when you lose your passion for things. Like, yo, like, I'm not excited for things anymore. I experience more anxious and miserable emotions than I do with feelings of euphoria. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the same anymore. These quote fun things aren't fun anymore. A lot of things aren't fun anymore. I'm struggling to find myself entertained. A lot of things have become empty to me. What's even more impactful is, I know a lot of people listening to this or experience this, is that sometimes what I think your childhood dies because you made a decision to rationalize the situation. Oh, now you remember when maybe your family member hurt you, or somebody who you loved in the past was really using you this whole time. Yo, I've had that moment several times in my life. You ever think about someone in the past and then realize, like, wow, I just realized they were using me. Or, wow, I just realized they lied to me. They kept something from me. And that person may not even be in your life anymore. They're far in the past. But that reality hitting you is terrifying. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what happens when your childhood dies. Reality hits sometimes. Reality about life. And it's hard to be a delusional optimist, because that doesn't last very long all the time. And I know being pessimistic isn't very helpful either, but there's also a thing about just being realistic. Sometimes that reality sets in and then you're hit blindsided by it. And I think that's what I'm talking about here. Like, and it depends on the person. Remember, everybody has a different situation to how your childhood died. I'm curious to read, and I want to know, when did your childhood die? When did you start experiencing things I'm talking about in this video where things aren't fun anymore? I don't want to say it's dull, like everything in life is dull to you now, or maybe your passions are filled with dullness. But life isn't exciting as it used to be. That feeling where things aren't the same anymore. I would say I feel like this happened to a lot of people during the lockdown, especially if you were maybe a teenager during the lockdown. Like, that's when things started to really hit the fan for you. But for those who already died inside before then, when did your childhood die? And for the people who actually still have I know there's some people who be like, yo, my childhood still hasn't died yet. And they're like, I don't know, like in their 30s. Like, I know some people who are like that. And I don't know how you do it. For real, I don't know how you do it. I don't know what doesn't make you stress out. Like, I don't get it. Because I feel like once you hit a certain age of adulthood, your childhood evidently is going to have to die, because you're going to have to deal with the realities of life. Or are you just not thinking about these realities? How does this happen for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, Shraggy? Like, I don't get it. But maybe you can educate me on this. All right? You know what I'm saying? And listen, for the people who want to share how your childhood died, maybe, if you feel comfortable sharing it, let me know. What triggered it for you? I already told my life story so many times on this channel. I mean, if you really want to hear everything again, I'll leave one of the videos in the description. But hey, first leave a like and comment, okay? Before you go to that video, shaking my head. This episode is found on Spotify and YouTube. Times Square.
Nightmare 7 a.m. in the morning though. No surprise. Times Square's you and I under those lights. No disguise. Don't tell me everything you wanted was a lie. All those city lights, it's an endless night. Never expected you to bring me so much life. Close my eyes too long, then it's time to say goodbye. Let's dance all night until the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Let's dance all night until the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Caution. Wait a moment, keep my heart locked away, it's filled with emotion. Gave the key to you, right in front of you is open. Hey, try your best to not leave it broken. Oh, it's been a while since you know it's frozen.
I was reading the comments to last video, and obviously I opened up a can of worms to have a discussion about looks overshadowing someone's personality. And I just remembered something that I forgot to mention in that video. I told like 3 stories, but I forgot to tell this one. Back during those Team Fortress 2 days, I used to play on this same community server every night. And I remember there was this one girl who would always come on around like 8 p.m. or so. Literally every night. I'll never forget. She always played Demo Man. You know, sadly, the only black guy in the game, shaking my head. But anyway, she was like famous on the server basically because she was so consistently on it. Every time she would join, everyone would be like, hey, nice to see you again. We missed you. And it's funny because whenever I joined every day, nobody said hi to me, but they say hi to the e-girl. Of course. She would talk on her microphone from time to time. She just existed pretty much. Like, she was just another person who I saw every night. People were simping over her, though. Some people, when they saw her playing, they would switch teams just to be on her side, and they would purposely go medic just to heal her. She had like 10 medics. And she would just play like a single demo, man. She had like 10 medics healing her. It was ridiculous. Like talk about princess treatment. Oh, and the server had this pay to win feature, by the way. And I bought it too, not gonna lie. If you donate to the server at the end of every round, you won't get team swapped or scrambled. So if you're playing with friends on like the blue team, for example, you guys will remain on the same team. So it does make things unfair because you can stack with your friends on one team and just stomp out other people or randoms. Some people, I felt like they literally paid just to stay on her team, to simp over her. So one day, right? And I'm sure some of you guys know what I'm talking about or seen this before. You know when people change their Steam display name to their Twitch name? So she joined one day on the server and she changed her name to like Twitch TV / and then her username was after that. And I was like, wow, she's a streamer now, or she's trying to start streaming. That's cool. Let me check it out. That's what I really thought. Yo, I go to her Twitch stream. This girl, man, I'll try to say this nicely. She just, with all due respect, I see a webcam on. I have first impressions. Okay, my eyes work. Okay, like she clearly had a major weight problem. And listen, I don't know her health history. Okay, so I'm not gonna be like, you know, but like on top of this, she wasn't also very good looking. Again, I'm just trying to say this stuff politically correct before people think I'm just like attacking, okay? She just doesn't look good. And I wouldn't even say she was close to average. But hey, huge props to her for having the courage to do a webcam. Look at me. I don't even have one myself. And remember what I said. She would sometimes speak on her mic inside of TF2. Now she's streaming. It's a constant feed. She's nonstop talking. She was saying stuff, though, that seemed like she was struggling to formulate sentences. And I'm describing this not because, look at her misfortunes. Look at how she speaks. Look how fast she is. Like, no. Everyone is born different and with different circumstances. She could have had plenty of health issues. I don't know. Okay. Not everyone gets to choose how pretty they look when they're born, right? And when as they grow older, whatever. I'm just sharing what I saw on my first impression. I'm sorry for being judgmental, but don't act like when you go to a stream and see someone's webcam or someone's appearance in real life, you don't make observations or notations of curiosity. But this is what made me remember the story from the comments from last video. Even though she had these physical attributes of not being attractive, having heavy weight issues, and broken speech patterns, people were still simping all up in the chat. But you know what's funny? If this was a guy, a man, nobody will be watching this person. Rather, he might get trolled or flamed and be called ugly, fat, stupid because he's struggling to speak. But it's not a guy, it's a female. And I remember someone asked her during the stream what she does for work. She says that she doesn't work. She just sleeps all day. She doesn't do anything or have a skill set. So add on to the fact she has no skill set with the other things mentioned, yet men are still simping over her. But again, if this was a guy with no skill set and considered ugly and fat and stupid because he has no skill set and bad speech patterns, he just gets trolled or ignored or bullied. I'm sorry to say it. Some women can't lose, bro. Last video, we're talking about how people can look good and have a bad personality and can still make it to first base. Sometimes people will just ignore your bad characteristics because you look good. We also talked about, and I see some of y'all said this in the comments, if you're ugly, you already have a disadvantage. Dumb people act like pretty privilege doesn't exist for some reason. It's usually pretty people saying that. They don't want to act like things have been given to them just because they look good. And don't get it twisted. I'm not saying all pretty people never worked for anything. I'm not saying that. But this has been psychologically proven that people are more intrigued and open to engage with those who are attractive. And one common reason for that is that people just assume just because you look good, you must have a good personality, or you're a likable person, or you're naturally good at things. It's just how your brain is just wired to see things, right? Beauty is a certain visual aspect. Even though that's not true, that you may, just because you look good, you have a good personality, that may not be true. If you, for some reason, your brain is not working right now and you don't believe me, tell me with a straight face you're willing to deny how pretty people have been skyrocketed much better on social media platforms as either influencers, streamers, and so forth. I'm not saying every pretty person didn't put any work in, but come on, people will look more at pretty people than those who are average or below average. Remember how I told a story once about how I saw a stream recommended on YouTube, and I went to her Twitch page, and she had like, I don't remember, let's say 400 viewers, right? And she's just sitting there, pretty face, talking like she's on some SSRIs. She's zombied out. She just looks super pretty and she barely has clothes on. Zero personality, zero charisma, barely engaging to the Twitch stream. People are just donating to her though, right? And when you donate to people, you see like the notification pop up, like someone donated this amount of, what's it called, bits, right? Or this amount of whatever. And she's not even reading the donations on the screen. I'm like, huh? What is this stream? Y'all just paying this lady to sit on stream and look pretty? I just find it weird with the TF2 girl. How does she still have Sims? Life ain't fair, man. I'm telling y'all. And some of y'all might take this as hatred, or y'all just take this the wrong way in general, or think I have a vendetta against women. I'm just saying, evidently and clearly, some women just can't lose. Not all women, because male or female rather, all human beings have their struggles and complications. But some just can't lose in life. Yo, I would feel blessed and grateful if I was able to hop on a Twitch stream and people would simp over me just because people are attracted to feminine attributes. Hey, yo, pause. I might just start streaming again and cross-dressing. I can't take it anymore, bro. If y'all know I'm a man, I'm gonna start streaming. I might just rock out as a femboy and hop on like, listen, y'all better simp over me. I'll just play Pokemon Sword and Shield with my microphone turned off. I don't care no more. Yeah, listen, I'm not even gonna play the game. I'm gonna leave the game on the main menu and keep my webcam on. I'm looking good and simp worthy quality, okay? Give me a deal on Twitch, bro. $500,000 or it's a dub. Like, see, you know this is what's so interesting though. Because if you really think about the TF2 story I just told, I'm sure this isn't the first time you've seen something like this though. Societal norms have implemented this idea where if a man does not look good, he's supposed to compensate through his charisma or reliability, whether that be financially or sometimes even masculinity, which masculinity, doing that, I feel like amplifies toxicity. And this is why people believe in these macho man mentality type of, like, people wonder why insecure men watch these alpha male nonsense YouTubers, because they feel like, hey, since I don't reach certain standards, I'm going to emphasize my masculinity to compensate for the other things I'm lacking. Or they'll think, hey, maybe if I'm financially stable myself or become wealthy, it will overshadow my other attributes. Doesn't say it doesn't always exist, right? That doesn't always happen, because it does happen for some people. But for some reason, though, if you're a female and you're lacking certain standards, you can still get leniency if you're feminine enough. And that may not apply to every female, but you get what I'm saying. Like, we have these weird cultural standards for beauty. We also have these expectations depending on your gender. I feel like both women and men are judged harshly for their appearance, but each side has their own versions of having to compensate. Otherwise, they'll get ridiculed online, especially. That's why I think that TF2 girl, people were still simping over her, because she is very feminine. She is indeed a female. But her being as feminine as she was, it compensated and overshadowed her other attributes that I mentioned. Men can't get away with that though. And the reason why this is such a big deal is because we live in a time period where social media is one of the most active hobbies people partake in. Nearly everyone is on social media. And you know, sometimes we have these double standards where if you're a female and lack conventional attractiveness, but embody stereotypical traits like, I don't know, nurturing or again, extremely feminine, right? People will accept it. But men, on the other hand, you don't just get judged by your appearance. You will get cooked for your status, your accomplishments, if you're emotional for some reason. Like apparently men, if you're emotional, it's very feminine. I don't understand. Like if you cry, like, say men shouldn't cry or something, like why is that a thing? It's kind of weird. The reason for that, though, simply put, a lot of people in society are stuck on traditional roles where men are valued more for their utility and status. I never grew up that way because in my household, my mother ran the show. My mom always made 10 times more than my father. And basically, my mom had the power in the household. I'm not saying my dad had nothing going on, okay? But if you asked who ran my household, it was my mom. But a lot of men will have a complete ego trip about that. If you were in my dad's situation, right? They'll feel their masculinity is destroyed or challenged just because they're letting a woman have a different power dynamic. People want to talk about equality so much between men and women. Now, I'm all for it. Yet, these same people who do it, though, most of them, not all, but a lot of them, still cling onto traditional stereotypes of men and women, which I don't really feel like it makes sense nowadays. Going back to what I was saying, the double standard is crazy. And I know some people feel a way right now about earlier in this video, about my judgment towards the TF2 girl. But this goes all the way back to the beginning. Social media is designed to encourage others to make quick judgment. Proof or example, if you don't believe me. You see a thumbnail of a YouTube video. You judged it, articulated it quickly, and may have encouraged you to click on the video, right? You're judging something. On Twitch streams, for example, you see a thumbnail, let's say of some pretty lady, and you're like, ooh, I'm about to click on this because I'm attracted to pretty women. And I see it in the thumbnail. Literally, social media encourages people to make quick judgments. Now, unfortunately, oh, by the way, I hate when people like, I never judge people. Bro, you be judging people all the time, okay? But here's the thing. Not everyone acts on their judgment, okay? Now, like I said, unfortunately, due to social media having a sense of being anonymous and distant from the person you're talking bad about, negative people, such as trolls, or, people who just want to harass others or write general hate comments, people end up finding easy targets just because they're not conforming to ideologies that they believe in. We subconsciously enforce these unfair expectations. And that's why I said, I don't know what this TF2 girl's medical history was, but I saw something online and my brain makes judgment for what it sees. But I didn't engage into it. I may be judgmental, but I didn't engage into it. I didn't hop into chat and call her ugly, but nor did I simp. However, anyone has the opportunity to do that, though, and can thrive by harmful behavior simply because of these unfair expectations. In a perfect world, and I don't think this would ever happen, by the way, but hey, I'm not saying you can't start by doing this now, okay? I'm not saying just because it's not going to happen, don't do this. But in a perfect world, biases based on social standards should promote more empathy and kindness to people online and offline. But sadly, the internet does not work that way, and a lot of people in real life do not work that way. And the same could be said about simp culture and the online dynamics of men and women. Anyway, what do y'all think? This episode is found on Spotify and YouTube. Times Square.
Nightmare 7 a.m. in the morning though. No surprise. Times Square's you and I under those lights. No disguise. Don't tell me everything you wanted was a lie. All those city lights, it's an endless night. Never expected you to bring me so much life. Close my eyes too long, then it's time to say goodbye. Let's dance all night till the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Let's dance all night till the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Caution. wait a moment, keep my heart locked away, it's filled with emotion. Gave the key to you, right in front of you is open. Hey, try your best to not leave it broken. Oh, it's been a while since you know it's frozen.